their hands. So they come to Jesus and they say, look, your disciples have just broken a tradition. They have just eaten without washing their hands. So you need to tell us why your disciples don't respect the traditions of Israel, the traditions of the elders. And Jesus says something to them as a foundation to the discourse. Jesus says to them, okay, I get it. You have issues with the fact that my disciples don't wash hands before they eat. How about you? You guys have developed your own traditions which are designed to nullify God's traditions. God has traditions which are rooted on a mission. They have something that they need to achieve. But you guys have nullified them. And this is a very interesting text. Very interesting text. Because Jesus says, for example, God has told you to honor your father and your mother. But what do? You, on the other hand, say, if anything has been dedicated to God and has been set aside for God, it cannot be used to honor your father and your mother because it is holy. And Jesus says, you hypocrites. Now, if you listen very carefully, that is a shock to our systems. Okay, let's put it practically. Jesus is saying to them, how about you? You complain that my disciples don't wash hands. Well, let me tell you what you do. When you do your budget, you set all your tithe aside. And then here comes a poor person asking for your help. And you say to them, sorry, I can't help you. The only money I have now is for tithe. Then he says, you hypocrite. If you did not just get what Jesus has just said. Because the point that Jesus is making is this. You have not honored God by reserving money for him at the expense of helping one of his children. So if you wanted to honor me, you should have taken that tithe and assisted that person who was in trouble. And you need to hear this from the perspective of Jesus Christ. Jesus would keep on repeating this thing. Love the neighbor as you love your, as a twist to Deuteronomy chapter 4 and chapter 6. Thou shalt love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your mind, and with all your strength. The three components of the human being. And so if you love your neighbor as you love yourself, and yet you have loved God as you love yourself, therefore God is the neighbor and the neighbor is God. And so the only way to honor God is to honor the neighbor. So when you preserve your assistance for rituals, but turn away the neighbor, you have turned away God. And so Jesus says, so you tell me, in the church books, you show up every month. But how much of God do you turn away coming to ask you for help? I can assure you what I've just said is so unconventional. It even makes it so, should I return a tithe? Yes, you should return a tithe. What Jesus is simply arguing is that when faced with the choice to deliver a son of God or support a system, and the only thing you have is what is reserved for the system, deliver the child of God.